everyone, my name is NewFlowerGirl, but you can call me Demi, and welcome back to another Aftertalk. Today we're going to be talking about what happens in Formula 1 during the month of May. So, what are we going to talk about? Well, there were 3 races, 4 if you count sprint races. We had the Formula 1 Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix, which was the sprint weekend. We had the Formula 1 MSC Cruises Gran Premio del Made in Italy at Del Emilia Romagna. And we had Formula 1 Grand Prix de Monaco. We had one very extra name and then a very basic one. We're going to go over a few photos of what happened. Basically, 2 of the most important ones, which all happened in Monaco. Quite frankly enough. I'm going to go over the driver standings, going to look at the constructor standings, and then we're going to go and see where we're going to be racing next time out in June. So, first up, Miami. You can see the track here. If you look at it really well, you can see that it looks like an alligator's head upside down. You know, like this is the upper jaw, this is the lower jaw, this is where the eyes would be. You get what I mean? Yeah? No? Okay. Well, it was a sprint weekend, so you know the layouts. Okay? You all know the layout. There was a massive Kevin Magnussen and Lewis Hamilton battle, which was probably the best one of the entire season so far. I enjoyed every second of it. It was the best. Ricciardo was best of the rest. He qualified 4th for the sprint race, and he finished 4th ahead of Ferrari, which was basically the best out of any of his races for RB, for VCARB, as they call it. Norris got hit by Stroll, who got hit by Alonso, who got hit by Lewis. So basically what happened there was, going into turn 1 during the race start, Lewis Hamilton saw a gap between the apex of turn 1 and Fernando Alonso, and he went for it because he's always inspired by basically what Ayrton Senna used to say: if you don't go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. Apparently that has gone too much to his head, and he basically caused a chain of events by hitting Alonso, who had to go into Stroll. Stroll actually did leave a gap for that, but unfortunately not enough. But he tried his best to avoid it, which I give him credit for. And then Stroll got hit into Norris, and Norris was out of the sprint race. Because of that entire deal with Kevin Magnussen and Lewis Hamilton, Kevin Magnussen received at first 35 seconds worth of time penalty, but in the end he got 10 seconds more. He is 2 penalty points away from being disqualified. That was at that point. Spoiler alert, he hasn't gone another penalty. So yeah, Lewis Hamilton got a 20-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Yeah. How about that? Now we're going to go to the main race. The best bit of the main race was Lando Norris is no longer Lando no wins. He's Lando has landed. Yeah. He has finally gotten his first win. And let me tell you, I was happy. I made a bet. I once said that if Lando won a race in Formula 1, then I would order a jumper from his store. I did, and last Friday it came in. It's one of the coziest and most amazing jumpers that I have. It's actually a hoodie, but it's the best. I'm going to take it with me on holiday. Sargent and Kevin Magnussen, they crashed. Another typo. I typed this all on my pad, so mind all the typos. But Sargent and Kevin Magnussen had a crash, and Sargent was out. in his home Grand Prix. He was born in Miami. Well, he was born in Florida. Not sure if he is in Miami. He's born in Florida. He was born in Florida. Alpine have scored their first points. It is only 1 point, but whatever. 1 point is 1 point. He got it. Piastri and Sainz collided, but they were both able to continue. And Sainz was hit by a 5-second time penalty. Now we're going to go to Imola, which is a historic one. It's a beautiful track in Emilia-Romagna. And this was the first non-sprint weekend in like 2 races. So yeah. We saw both the Alpines get into Q2, which is for the first time. And it was amazing. I was shocked. I was actually shocked. When I saw it, I was like, that's not supposed to happen. Something has to go wrong. But it didn't. Good for them. Max Verstappen won the race. Max and Lando had a nice battle in the last 10 laps. Yeah, it was amazing. During Miami, I forgot to tell that, both the McLaren drivers got an update on their suspension. Like car updates, you know, like a update package, you know. And that's basically one of the factors with which Lando had won. And because of this, like, they also, you know, got... they also were rather quick in Imola. Albon retired. I cannot remember why he retired or what it was, but I think it was like engine failure or something. But he retired. There were no red flags. There were no local yellows, and no virtual safety cars or full safety cars. Which it sounds boring, but yeah, it was alright. Now we're gonna go to the most historic one, Monaco. Let me tell you, it was chaotic. Street circuits, they are just chaotic, alright? Especially if they're just this thin. Haas got disqualified from the quali because of a DRS infringement. Basically, it was kind of the same as with Lewis Hamilton in 2021 in Brazil. The DRS gap was too big. It was too big. So they were disqualified, just like what happened to Lewis Hamilton. He also got disqualified back then. So at least they're fair. One Alpine got into Q3, which is the first. Now we need to wait for the other guy. It was Pierre Gasly who got into Q3. Charles Leclerc got pole on his home track. Yes, Charles Leclerc is Monegasque. So yeah, I still don't know how to spell Monegasque. Like, I know how to say it, but I don't know how to spell it. Lots of people have reported that they hit the wall. I mean, the wall in turn 15 must have been moved over by at least a few inches. Because lots of drivers have hit it there. And maybe the wall in turn 1, perhaps, exit turn 1. Max actually hit that wall in qualifying quite hard, so he couldn't get his final lap in. But there were no red flags in qualifying, which is good. Qualifying was delayed due to Formula 2, I believe. I mean, there in Raskas, I believe Raskas is turned 18. There was an incident with Zay Maloney and Kushmaini in Formula 2, and that was during the sprint race. And yeah, that was a red flag because it was blocked. That just shows how narrow these tracks are. There was, however, a red flag in race on race day. They couldn't even get up to turn 2. I mean, for real. Well, at least Perez and the Haas's, they couldn't even get up to... They might have. they couldn't have gone to casino. Let's keep it to that. They weren't there at the casino. At the first official race start, Sainz had to park at turn 4. He had a puncture from a small little collision with Piastri, who started second next to his now adoptive brother. Because if you don't know, there's been this ongoing joke on X with Leclerc and Piastri. Basically, Piastri he wants to claim every single race as his home race, I believe. So he was like posting on X, like looking in my family tree to see if I have Monegasque somewhere. And then Charles came up like, I can adopt you if you want. My mom can adopt you if you want. And yeah. During FP1, the official lists, it legit just say Oscar Piastri - Leclerc. It legit just said that. Like it was insane. But speaking of Leclerc, he made it his maiden home race win. During the last 2 laps, he barely could see because the emotions were rising. He said that in the cool down room, I believe. The emotions were getting up because he had never gone onto the podium in his home Grand Prix. I mean, normally he would always just crash out, finish last, or just about not get to the podium. I mean, 2021 was his worst year, where he couldn't even start because he had a crash a crash in 15-16. And yeah. 2022 was he got 4th in a rainy race, which is one of my favorite Monaco races, because it was basically legit Ferrari versus Red Bull. And then 2023 he got 6th, so that was Ferrari's strategies throwing him off, getting him off the win, but he finally made it. He finally did it. Red Bull had a tough weekend because, well, like I said, Max hit the wall in turn 1 in qualifying. Not enough to hold it, to hold the qualifying, to end the quality early. But he had to start 6th. He couldn't get any higher than that. He constantly had Lewis Hamilton breathing in his neck. But on the bright side, Oscar Piastri got a podium. His first podium of the season. Now we just need to get him to a race win as well. Well, here are some photos. He's so happy holding that trophy. But this, you gotta be lucky to see, to just look at it. There's only 1 tire still left on the car. 2 of them are under here and 1 of them bounced off like here. But here we can see him walking away. But yeah, look, when it went to the onboard bit, like this bit, I thought like the entire nose was gone. Because I could only see like up to here. The whole nose was just gone. I thought that he might have lost his legs, like Alex Zanardi. But luckily that isn't the case. But this was a scary crash indeed. And basically, I posted the 2 main culprits onboards on my Discord, which is basically Perez's onboard and K-Mag's onboard, who we can see right here getting out of his car. But yeah, it was scary. Like, if we go back one, basically right here, it was in turn 2. Like here, the wall it turns a bit, yeah. And Perez was ahead. and K-Mag thought like, oh, I can squeeze by, and then just bam, crash. There was not even a safety car call, it was just yellow in sector 1, yellow sector 2, yellow sector 1, yellow sector 2, and then bam, red flag as soon as Leclerc made it to Nouvelle chicane. Yeah. And they would joke when you like stranded up here because he couldn't get past. But yeah, it's a big crash indeed. I cannot say it enough. These drivers are so lucky with the safety innovations nowadays. And I believe I've said it like almost every time. Like every race, every season of Formula 1, there's just one massive crash in which we are all left in silence. And this is the perfect example of it. This is the example of like massive crash that makes us go silent. Like I was just sat there and shook. Like, oh my god, what the heck happened? That was legit me. Anyway, we're gonna get to driver standings. So yeah, we can see that Gasly finally has a point. There are 3 drivers yet to score points. Oliver Behrman finally has more Formula 2 points than he has Formula 1 points, thanks to a great result in the feature race. In Formula 2, we just missed out on podium, I believe. So yeah. But I'll still include him in this list because, well, he raced a weekend. Yeah, Albon scored 2 points as well in Monaco. So the only team left to score is Kick Sauber. Yeah. And also, it is going to be tight. But it's going to be a championship battle between the top 4. Yeah. It's going to be a battle between the top 4, I believe, because they're all relatively close together. Like if Leclerc, Norris and Sainz get a podium and Sainz wins, then Norris second, then Leclerc third, and Verstappen doesn't finish a race, then I think that it's yeah. Then I think it's going to be very close. But also Perez could be involved in that too, because he's only 1 point behind Sainz. So the top 5 are in for the running, but I'm not going to count Perez because, well, his qualifying results aren't the best. He got out in Q1. But then again, Alonso did too. So yeah. Constructor standings, yeah. Yeah. Good, yeah. Where are we going to go to next? Well, first of all, we're going to go to Canada on the 7th, starting on the 7th, and the race on the 9th. I haven't actually checked if there is a sprint that weekend. I don't think there is, to be honest. Let me quickly go and check. But the one after that is Formula 1 Aramco Gran Premio de España. You pronounce it like that. Yes, España. And then Formula 1 Qatar Airways Austria Grand Prix. Canada is not a sprint weekend. What about Spain? Also not. What about Austria? Austria is a sprint weekend. So yeah, keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, also I watched my first full IndyCar race, and let me tell you, I probably picked one of the craziest years to start watching it. Like I watched like the Indy 500. It started off like before the thing even started. Like, it was late by 4 freaking hours because of rain. But they did race in the end. And it was one huge spectacle. Like, it was a massive incident with, massive incident. There was an incident involving 3 cars including Marcus Ericsson, who races there. Funny thing that happened, according to me, all Honda powered cars, most of them they retired due to engine failures. Theo Pourchaire is gonna drive for the remainder of the season there in America, so that might be another push for me to watch it more. And yeah, the Dutch guy did very well. He did have an incident with someone in the pit lane, which happened last year as well. Like, you just bumped into someone. And that will put you back to the back of the grid. It's not as bad as getting like a grid penalty or something. But like, he did it very early on in like his first pit stops. So it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. And he fought his way to the front very nicely. He finished P9. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's Aftertalk. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and also consider subscribing if you don't want to miss any other Aftertalks or just in general any other video. But that's it from me for now, and I shall see you guys in another video. Goodbye!